All right, part 3. Okay. So yeah, there are many falls. There are 3 forces. I don't know. Third caused by the interaction of the Trinity. Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. I guess Holy Ghost would be your emotions, and you're not in touch with your emotions, then there's going to be another fall. I don't know. Lucifer moved to the earth. So, Lucifer moved to the earth. And Lucifer lived on the earth, so I don't know who Lucifer is. Maybe it's some alien. The Urantia book says Lucifer was like the planetary prince, the person who was supposed to take charge of the earth and take care of the earth, but then he went nuts and he got fired, and now he's stuck on Mars or something. Beings from Venus were master teachers here. Well, that's what Ra Law 1 says. The Venusians went to Egypt and taught them their religion back then and helped them make the pyramids. So they were the master teachers here. Venus or one of those teachers for us. Okay. Feminine pole holds love and imagination. And Lucifer rejected that. Gave knowledge to us too soon and was expelled. Feminine pole holds love and imagination. So, I don't know what the masculine pole is, but femininity is all about love. Well, we know that because women love their children. And imagination. So the women are imaginers. And Lucifer rejected that. So, yeah, there is definitely, we all know that there's definitely has been a suppression of the feminine energy. Because, men have been in charge of everything, Men legally in Rome up until 100 BC were legally allowed to kill their wives if they wanted to. And I think men still are in some of those Muslim countries. Or at least chop their noses off and their ears and arms and stuff. So, he gave knowledge to us too soon and was expelled. Kind of like Prometheus. He taught humans how to make fire, and so he was punished by all the other gods and had to be chained to a rock with birds pecking his eyes out for all of eternity. So I guess that's how Lucifer got fired. Maybe because they gave us, we had wars. The Mahabharata says we had wars back in those Atlantean times. The Rama Empire, Atlantis, and Lemuria. We had this big world culture that had wars, and maybe that's because the aliens or Lucifer gave us all the technology so that we, and we used that technology the wrong way and killed each other. So maybe that's why he got fired. Okay. War in Heaven and Hyperborean Epoch. Or, War in Heaven had Hyperborean Epoch. Before we began our creative cycle. I don't know what Hyperborean means. But there was a war in heaven, according to the Sirians. Before we began our creative cycle. So before we became humans and could think and be creative, there was a war in heaven. Okay. Lucifer expelled to Mars. So Lucifer got kicked off planet Earth, has to live on Mars. All of planets' poles will shift. When there's a pole shift on Earth, maybe in 2012, I don't know. Well, it's going to be a pole shift caused by crossing the galactic plane, and all of the poles and all of the planets are going to shift. And all the planets, are all heating up now. If you look at pictures of NASA photos from the 60s and now and compare them. Okay. God's spirit versus passion and desire. So the Spirit of God is passion. Okay, the Spirit of God always has to contend with passion and desire. Passion and desire have to contend with the Spirit of God. So it's like passion and desire. It's something that fuels us to do what we do and live out our dreams and our visions, but sometimes we get too carried away from it and get too attached to our own personal goals because we see ourselves as separate from everybody else, and it turns into this big competition, and then we get upset about it and angry and kill each other. So, okay. Leo will shine a light force on Earth, feminine force, fire mind. Okay, so I guess Leo in this day and age is a feminine force. It's fire. It's the force of fire and of mind. And the energy of Leo is kind of the energy of the new world. Well, now I know that the energy of Leo is is of personal. Well, you know, Leo, the lion, the king of the jungle, the king. It's you thinking you're a king. You doing whatever you want. You don't take orders from anybody. You give the orders because you're king. Nobody can tell you nothing. You are, you're on top of the pile. So, and that's what the feminine force is all about. So I guess it's women taking over and doing what they want and saying what they want. Okay, Lamb, God is heart, God and heart. So I guess the symbol of lamb is of God and the heart. Probably should have included more words in these notes. Okay. We have visited many star systems. I don't know if they mean us and our reincarnations, being aliens, or in other past lives and other star systems. But yeah, or in our spaceships back when we had the technology. But that's pretty much common knowledge. We have lived in many different planets, similar to Earth, and maybe even not so similar to Earth. Okay, the falls. The different falls, like Lucifer fall, fallen angels, problems, hiccups in our evolution. 1, mating with monkeys, Adam and Eve. So maybe what they mean is when we created a human being 250,000 years ago, mixing Homo erectus and Anunnaki, that was considered a fall. Maybe the human body we lived in when we were on Mars and on Marduk, or the other spirits that we were on other planets, is more developed and intelligent than the Homo sapien. Or when we mated with the monkeys, that is what actually dumbed us down, just the mere fact of doing that. Okay, number 2, the other fall, is giants 30 feet tall came and manipulated draconians. Dragons, serpents, reptiles bred with us, which defiled us, and they got trapped in material plane and had a race, which are the Aborigines. Okay, so there were giants who were 30 feet tall, and we supposedly found bones, and I've seen pictures on the internet, they look kind of real, who were 30 feet tall. Well, that's big enough to be able to make Baalbek in Lebanon. That makes sense. And the Philistines, I think, were the people who lived in Baalbek. And the Philistine is what Goliath was, and Goliath was a giant. So maybe they got smaller and smaller, but back in the day they were that big. And people 30 feet tall could hoist those big-ass stones around. Okay, so they came and manipulated the Draconians, or they were manipulated by their Draconians. They were kind of the manipulators, the evil ones, evil aliens, children of evil aliens. And so we have serpent and reptile, dragon blood in us, which defiled us. So it causes problems for us, makes us, I guess, maybe cold-blooded. Cannibalistic or something, I don't know. So anyway, they came and they got trapped in the material plane. I think Anna Hayes talks about that, like, different spirits coming down from a higher dimension to try to help us and bring us back up. But instead of bringing us up, we brought them down and they got stuck here. Anyways, they created a race, the Aborigines. So the Aborigines are the race created by the Draconians. Not to say that the Aboriginals are evil, but those are just the ones who are the descendants of them. Okay, so there's 4 kinds of nature: mineral, plant, animal, and human. Yep, that makes sense. All different kinds of life forms. Many crossbreedings, like the centaur. So I guess the centaur and all of these animals of mythology, the unicorn and all this stuff, are actually did exist, and it's maybe what we were doing back in the Atlantean days, as we were experimenting and creating all sorts of monstrosities. Edgar Cayce said that they were creating monstrosities, is the actual word he used. And the little toys that they dug up in the Middle East were these little gray alien-looking robot things. Maybe they created like weird automaton humans or something. But there is an Old Testament rule how you shouldn't eat pork. I think it was Abraham who said that. And maybe you shouldn't eat pork because maybe pigs are actually half human, half dog. And so you don't want to be a cannibal by eating a pig. The pig heart is very similar to the human heart. And pigs are very intelligent. And they have noses that look like humans. And they kind of look like humans. So you can train them like dogs too. So I don't know. Okay. Laz, or the Lyrians, or the Els, came and started Lemuria. So the Lyrians started Lemuria. That's from Lyra, star system. To help them be compassionate. So the Lyrians are good. They came here and started Lemuria to help us humans be compassionate. So I think the Lemurians were kind of the peaceful ones back in those days. The hippies, and then the Atlanteans were the reincarnations of the people from Mars, the more hawkish type of people. Okay, so Nick, Ul from Orion, or the Giants. Okay, so the Orions are the Giants. The giant people who lived here, who are related to the Draconians, are the Orions. And that's actually similar to what Alex Collier says, is that the Orions are manipulated, by the Draconians, the dragons. And Bashar says Orion are the reincarnations of all, the Illuminati and the people in power trying to control everything, are reincarnations of people from Orion. So Orion may be related to, the Martians and the Mardukians. Okay, so they came and opened a doorway, also let other beings in from Milky Way and beyond. So the Orions came in and opened up vortexes in the earth and let all sorts of crazy spirits come in here. So maybe that's why they had to quarantine the earth back 90,000 years ago. So they brought things. Venusians brought wheat and honey. So the Venusians came and brought those specific things. The Sirians, the leaders of this system, Sirius A and Sirius B, have the same angle as our double helix. So the Sirians are, because Sirius is close, Sirians are it's like the capital of this part of the galaxy, is Sirius. And so that's what our DNA is kind of based off of, is, I guess, Sirius A and Sirius B, as they go around each other at the same angle as our DNA. When the Orions came to control and put fear in us, some went to underground caves. Well, yeah, that's what Alex Collier says. He says that, there's 1,700 dragons living 1,000 years. There's 1,400 dragons living 1,000 miles below the surface of the earth. Imagination changes your DNA. Our DNA is changing, and a good way to change our DNA, to help facilitate it, is by using your imagination. Opening up your pineal gland and letting your higher self come in and steer you and, follow your intuition, I guess. And that'll actually help change your DNA into more psychic DNA, the crystalline DNA. The Syrians and Venusians came to fix things and set up crystal cities and mountains. They didn't have to enter into human form like the Lyrans. So when the Lyrans came, they reincarnated as humans in Lemuria. But when the Syrians and Venusians came, they could actually, teleport here or just create, Ra, the Venusians, Ra Law 1, says that the Venusians are just thought forms. Like the aliens who came and visited with Eisenhower on the first time. They were humans to him, but they just materialized their bodies out of the higher dimension. So the Syrians and the Venusians are evolved enough to be able to do that. You're talking to a human, but it's just a manifestation of a body in front of you. And when they're done talking to you, they can evaporate into their higher dimensional body. So I guess they're higher than the Lyrans. Okay. More notes. Oh my. Okay. Okay, well, I'm running out of time, so let's do a part 4.